Katie from Nerd Church here. Um, I am here in modern clothes, but the same setting, to tell you a little bit more about the fabulous historical clothing that I was wearing that I made. Be impressed. You should. Yes, thank you. Okay. But seriously, if you think what I am doing is cool or innovative or neat, yes, it is. However, I am able to do what I have done because I stand on the shoulders of literal giants. And I will make a post sharing like my suggested bibliography. Um, but first I want you to see maybe what people can learn by doing this kind of experimental archaeology. And, maybe even the value of when you read religious polemics about modesty, maybe consider what they're actually talking about. So, I'm going to start not with the first thing you saw, but with the thing you didn't see, which is what is pictured in the thumbnail. This is a length of linen. It is, in Latin, it would be called a strophium. Now, the purpose of a strophium is essentially the same purpose as a modern brassiere. It's to support and also it's to support and create the illusion that the woman's bust is the ideal bust, right? And wearing a strophium was so normal in Rome that we actually have essentially menu photographs, like picture menu photographs from a bordello in Pompeii. I'm using slightly archaic language out of respect for the delicacy of people who might be watching this. So that's essentially a picture menu that depicts two consenting adults engaging in a variety of acts that two consenting adults sometimes engage in. And no one is wearing anything except that the women are depicted wearing strophiums. Because at that time, something that we would consider fairly normal was literally something that someone might hesitate to was an act that someone might hesitate to ask of a professional. And maybe it's worth considering that when Augustine is railing about the kinds of things that men shouldn't be allowed to ask their wives to do, something like that is on the list. I don't know what that means. It's a data point. Okay. So, the strophium goes on under everything else, and I can tell you for a fact it works really well. In fact, my friend, who so generously volunteered to do that in the thumbnail, is wearing what they normally wear on a daily basis because it's more comfortable for them. That's how good a strophium is. Put a reply in the comments if you want to know more detail about how to wrap it, because it's kind of cool. Okay, now underneath the strophium, I had this, which it's not very exciting. It's just kind of a piece of white linen, and it's sewn up on one side to make an armhole, and then there's an opening, and then it's kind of sewn up one side, just about 2 inches, and then it's sewn up the sides and on the bottom, but it's made out of like 2 full widths of fabric, which then and now a full loom width is usually like 45 inches is kind of like generally the average. You can go like down to 25 and like up above that, but usually like 45 seems to be the sweet spot, like pretty cross-culturally. Probably because for somebody who's my height, I'm 5'3", about 5.5 feet tall, that's something that can get you like either wrist to wrist or at least elbow to elbow coverage, plus it's a convenient loom width if you're a hand weaver. Again, speculation, but I can back it up if you want me to. Okay, so the point is that underneath that I'm wearing a sub tunica. Now, people did wear, now this is a little bit of kind of reenactory speculation on my part, but the reason why I do it is because historically people did wear what were called subtunica, but it's not entirely clear if that was a separate undergarment or more likely if that was just what happened when you layer your tunic that you don't want people to see under your tunic that you do want people to see, because cloth is hugely expensive. And so it's not entirely clear whether that's what's going on or if we're talking about potentially a separate undergarment. I chose to make a separate undergarment for the very simple reason that I live somewhere that it is extremely hot. And even wearing two very lightweight layers, this is, I don't know if you can see it, this is like, this is decent quality linen by modern standards. It's what they call handkerchief weight. It's sort of vaguely transparent, translucent. If I hold it up to the light, light will come through it. And when I wear another layer that is light enough that if I didn't have anything under it, I would be offending modern sensibilities, I essentially wear like a shoulder to knee length slip underneath, because that's something that's at least historically plausible, because we do know that there were short tunics. It's a compromise, but it's a compromise I think that I can back up. So I hope that you've learned a little bit. Come back next week and I'll start talking about the rest of the outfit. Okay, Nerd Church out.